Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Tower. So it's tournament day, but before I get into the actual tournament stuff, let's just take some time to answer two comments that I have received. Alright, the first comment comes from mnbgfdsa, and your question is about why it's the case that even though you have permanent golden tower, it's still a good idea to increase the duration. So your guess is that if we have a longer duration, it allows for a larger combo, but you're just guessing. And you are absolutely right. Your hunch is absolutely right. So let's just have a look at the wave timer and wave cooldown. Every wave for me takes 30 seconds. So given my golden tower duration of 68 seconds currently, what that means is that I would have 30 seconds for the first wave, 30 seconds for the second wave, and 8 seconds for the third wave every time my golden tower procs. So in the first wave, there will be 26 seconds by which enemies can spawn. After that, 4 seconds by which no enemies spawn. Second wave, another 26 seconds by which enemies spawn, and 4 seconds by which enemies do not spawn. And in the third wave, 8 seconds by which enemies can spawn. So over the course of this 68 seconds of my golden tower, I am able to get 60 seconds by which enemies can spawn, and 8 seconds by which enemies cannot spawn. So clearly, if I were to increase my golden tower duration from 68 to 69 seconds, then I would get 1 minute and 1 seconds of enemy spawns and 8 seconds of no enemy spawns. Now that additional enemies that spawn, if I kill them, are going to increase my golden tower combo. And that should allow for me to get larger multipliers on my golden combo, essentially. So hopefully that addresses your question. Okay, the next comment comes from dominiks 9058, and your comment is saying that you're facing a trade-off between getting cells or getting more coins with Devo. And which do I think is better, to focus on coins or focus on cells? Okay, so Dominiks, I think there is no blanket statement for a question like this. It really depends on your personal preference. And what you are saying is true. At the end of the day, when we get Golden Tower Plus, any form of coin gains that we get from Devo strategy is probably going to be overshadowed by what Golden Combo can provide. So it's in that sense, it might not be an issue for you to pursue a Devo strategy to begin with. However, everyone plays the game differently, and what I would say is that if your focus is you want to prioritize your lab development, then you should be focusing your efforts towards stuff that gives you more cells. But if you want to focus on, maybe your enhancements or just your researchers and being able to afford certain more expensive labs, then maybe a Devo strategy might be suitable. At least based on my experience, during the time that I was doing Devo, and I only did it for a few months, I absolutely hated the process because it was very micro intensive, and I just did not really enjoy that process. So the second thing is that when I was doing Devo, I was not really coin starved for any of the lab enhancements. Sure, there are some that are quite expensive, but for the most part, I could afford whatever lab I wanted to. So in that sense, I didn't really see much benefit from the added coin gain from Devo. However, also very, I guess, dependent on my situation. You can see that I started playing the game very early on. But in terms of my lab development, where is my labs? There, research completed is actually very low for an account that started whenever I did. And that is because I took a break from the game for quite a while. So if you were to ask me, at least, you know, facing that same trade-off that you have, I would prefer prioritizing sell income just so that I can get more of like the 4 times counters which you are mentioning, as opposed to getting the additional coin. And suppose, you know, I mean, now that I'm looking back at what I had done, where my current lifetime coin is where it is, of course that added trillions that I get under a Devo strategy is probably not going to be anything significant. Yeah. However, just bear in mind that during the period of time that you are playing the game, that added trillions could still potentially mean added lab enhancements or added workshop enhancements, sorry, or maybe just added levels into level skip or something, which could benefit your overall performance. So I guess the summary, the long and short of it all is it depends on your priority. If you feel that you would like the added cells for faster researches, then by all means don't proceed with Devo, since you mentioned that Blender is giving you better cells. But if you wanted that added edge in terms of your enhancements for tournament progress, for instance, or maybe just for pushing higher milestones, maybe it might be worth considering a Devo strategy. So hopefully that answers your question, Dominiks. Okay, so let's get into the actual tournament now. I'll just quit the game. Oh, look at that. Less than 1Q of income, but I mean, it's still good. It's still good. So, okay, let's see. Buy 1 workshop upgrade. What can I buy from the workshop that is cheap? Let's get 1 defense absolute. Okay, and let's have a look at the tournament for today. Right, op resistance, enemy speed, plasma cannon, ultimate weapon durations, basic ultimate, and death defy. So what does basic ultimate do? Basics have a chance to spawn as different enemies. Okay, so I think this is actually quite a nice set of battle conditions. Ultimate weapon durations might be a problem, but thankfully I wrote that substat on my dimension core, so it's no longer an issue for me. So I'm hoping that today's tournament would be pretty nice to do. Of course there is enemy speed, however that's the only factor that I have to worry about. There is no fast ultimate, so I don't have to worry about bosses flying so quickly to my tower and so on. So it should be fairly straightforward. Okay, let's have a think about what to do for this set of battle conditions. Now, as always, the first thing I would like to do is to just increase my range. So I'll max out my range. Shockwave size, I'm also going to max it out. Yep. And in terms of my modules, definitely will be running with Dimension Core, definitely will be running with Project Funding, and there is that anti-cube portal. Okay, so I think what I would like to do for today's playtesting is to follow up on more testing with Astral Deliverance and Death Penalty. So Jay Place, who's I guess a much bigger YouTuber than I am, so everyone probably knows him, he mentioned, rightly so in the previous video, that even though I had concluded that Astral Deliverance performed better for me. It's not a blanket statement. It's very dependent on every individual's tower development. So what holds for me might not necessarily hold for you as well, if you did the same set of things, and that's just due to the variance in our upgrades and so on. Now, while I do believe that the difference between the death penalty and the Astral Deliverance, I have isolated the treatment effect, which in the previous video showed me that Astral Deliverance provided better results, because death penalty works with a percentage chance of just instantly killing enemies. There is a lot of variance to using this particular module. So to try and keep things a bit more consistent, I think it would be worthwhile to just do extra playtesting using that same setup, as I did in the previous video, just to give us I guess a better sense of how the two modules can perform against one another. In terms of the overall difficulty of the battle conditions, I think they are very similar with one another. We basically just need to kill the enemies as quickly as possible, and there's no specific things that we have to worry too much about. So I think this would be a good set of tests to compare with the previous results. Okay, I have some additional coins, so let's think about how I want to spend my coin. Should I increase my damage? Or should I increase my economy? Oh, this is always a very tough question. How are my researchers looking like? Okay, should I boost my ultimate crit? Nah, it's okay. I don't want. I want to save some gems. Okay, sorry for all of that. Let's put 1 into cell bonus. I've got 9Q left. Now I can put some into attack speed. Let's get it to 1.25. I've got 2Q left. Let's get a bit of Ren armor and damage per meter, and I am broke. Okay, so all of that farming didn't really translate into much, but it's okay. Now, one thing I would say though is that I am very close to getting free respecs. Hopefully by the end of Wednesday's tournament next week, I would be able to unlock this. And then it would be nice to see tournament results where I compare respecking versus not respecking and seeing how much benefit it provides me. So that is something that I'm looking forward to. Okay, so without further ado, I guess we can get started with the first set of playtesting. These are my typical tournament cards. Nothing has changed. Modules, these are the modules that I'm running. These are their substats. Okay, and researchers, I have done that. So let's get started with the Astral Deliverance variant first. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, as always, we would have to set our target priorities. In this case, as usual, range goes up in front, then I guess boss would be next, and then I think closest would be good. Yeah, so nothing much to worry about. I just need to make sure the range don't hit me. Thereafter, maybe instead of putting closest first, I will put fast and then boss and then elites. Yeah, I think this would be a good overall target priority. In terms of the op distance, there is enemy speed, but for the time being, we might as well just put the ops somewhere in the inside of my range and see how we go with that first. So as usual, it's just going to be upgrading enemy health skips, and then we are pretty much AFK from there. Okay, it is wave 1290. My wall has finally broken. So Berserker is maxed out now, and I don't presume it will be very long before I start taking hits on my energy shield. Okay, it is wave 1480. I've taken the first hit of my energy shield. So it shouldn't be long now. I guess what I'll do is I'll just put the game at normal speed so you guys can see how it typically looks like. Even though I'm dealing as much damage as I can to the bosses, it's going to be quite difficult to kill them now with the health that they have. Okay, wings have just popped. It's 1540, so shouldn't be long now. So I'm thinking of getting Berserker Mastery, and as you just saw, I had taken a hit from the boss previously, and then the Death Defy procced. So I'm really interested to see how much the Viking Funeral provides in situations like this moving forward. So if all goes well, by the end of this tournament, I should be able to unlock Berserker Mastery. Assuming the bracket is not too difficult this time around. Oh, I think this is a new personal best. We are at wave 1600 and Demon Mode has still a while to go. So this is looking good. With the basics ultimate, I'm getting so many boss enemies. It would be great if they could drop like a reroll shards or something, but I think they don't do that when intro sprint mastery is present. Okay, so I presume this next boss is going to pop nuke. There we go. And so I guess we are going to wave 1700, but that's about as far as I'm going. This is pretty good because it means that very soon I will actually have to wait for my intro sprint mastery to finish and start a normal run, start the run like normal. So we've ended up at rank 3. That's about what I would expect as well. So the total wave count is 1720. Let's have a look at the damage breakdown. So unsurprisingly, with Astral Deliverance, projectile damage is pretty good. Thorn damage is also pretty good. Orb damage is really good considering that we are dealing with of resistance in these battle conditions. Check out the difference between smart missile damage and projectile damage. It's huge. Astral Deliverance really has, I think the bounce shot chance, it just increases your overall projectile damage by such a large amount. It becomes a significant proportion of your damage. Swamp damage is almost very similar to Smart Missile, considering how little development I have in my swamp at the moment. So that's very interesting to see. And ideally, I would like to pump up my Poison Swamp. What I'm told is that Chain Lightning and Poison Swamp is where majority of your damage will get, where you'll get most of your damage from. So that is definitely something worth considering, for me at least. So these are the overall stats. And yeah, so let's have a look at the overall ranking. It's rank 2, not rank 3. Let's hope that this is true. So there is a developer. This guy probably would overtake me. Yeah, probably would overtake me. Soran. Sichi as well. Matsi as well. Oh my goodness, guys, I'm going to... there's so many people who would overtake me. I'm probably going to get a very low rank this tournament, but hopefully I still have enough. I just need like 250 stones to unlock Berserker Mastery. And so that was the Astral Deliverance run. Let's have a look now at the Death Penalty run. Okay, so for Death Penalty, we equip Death Penalty. My Death Penalty stats are not very good. It's whatever. I would like to reroll them, but you know, I'm quite starved for shards at the moment, so I'll probably just defer this to a later period. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that needs to change in terms of my setup. So let's get into the Death Penalty run. Okay, so everything else stays the same. I want to keep it as consistent as possible, and we would just go with enemy health levels keeps maxing out, and then let the game AFK from there. Okay, we are at wave 1270 and wall has finally broken. Overall, I think the performance up to this stage is very similar. My concern with the Death Penalty build is that even though it would potentially kill the bosses with one hit, on instances where it does not kill the boss, because my overall damage is lesser under the Death Penalty build, or Death Penalty's throughput in terms of damage consistency is less than that of Astral Deliverance. If I get unlucky and you know it doesn't proc for a while, potentially it might be the case that the run ends a lot quicker than it would with the Astral Deliverance case. We shall see. So far it's still a bit early to say whether or not that will happen. Okay, so Wings have popped its wave 1530. As of now, it seems that the performance would be very similar. If I remember correctly from the last playtesting, it was the case that Astro Deliverance outperformed by about 60 waves, I presume this is going to be a very similar situation as well. But let's let the run play out and see how it goes. Okay, Nuke has just procced. We are just at wave 1700. It seems like it's almost identical performance in this particular instance. Most likely this boss is going to kill me. And there we go. So performance was exactly the same, 1720. I'm pretty sure that if we were to... Oh, sorry, I forgot to show the damage breakdown. I'm pretty sure that the overall difference between Astro Deliverance and Death Penalty is not going to be too big. However, the main thing that I've noticed from just watching the runs play out is that with the Astro Deliverance, I am consistently doing higher damage, but with Death Penalty, it's going to be either you kill the boss in one shot or you don't. And in the case where you do not kill the bosses or you get a string of unlucky procs, then it could potentially end your run a lot quicker. But the flip side is also true. If you have a string of lucky procs, you are going to kill all the bosses, in which case your run could actually be longer than Astro Deliverance. So overall, it's very difficult to say which is better. My personal preference when it comes to damage is still to have as consistent of damage as possible. So for that, I would typically prefer, I guess now that I've experienced it, I would prefer the Astro Deliverance build, just for the added consistency. One thing that I might want to try out in future is to use Being Annihilator, especially in conditions where, say, the bosses are more beefy, then having guaranteed super crits on them could potentially mean better priority damage to bosses, and that potentially could make the run a lot better. You know what, actually, since I have some reroll shards, I might as well just try it out. Okay, give me a minute, I'll reroll my Being Annihilator and we see how we go with that. Okay, so for the Being Annihilator, I'm not sure what would be good stats to roll, but let's have a look. Definitely because we want to crit the boss with super crit, so crit chance and crit factor would be important. I guess we don't need bound shot chance, we don't need bound shot range. Super crit chance and super crit multiplier are also good. And do I want multi-shot? Well, let's roll on the stats first and we see how we go. So auto reroll, let's get some of them out. Okay, let's keep this. This is better. And I still get 2 meters of attack range. Okay, so let's try one final run with Being Annihilator and we see how we go. Okay, so just let me check that everything is in order. Okay, and let's go. Oh, I have to spend 10 gems. Let's spend the 10 gems. Okay, it is wave 1300. The wall has just broken. Okay, first energy shield has popped, second energy shield has popped. Shouldn't be long now. Okay, nuke has just procced. Oh, it turns out being Annihilator is doing worse than the other two. I wonder why this is happening, but probably it's just the scaling or something. So being Annihilator performed overall 40 waves less than either death penalty or the Astral Deliverance. This is the overall damage breakdown. We can see that projectile damage is actually pretty decent under this setting. Orb damage is about the same as before. Smart missile damage is, comparatively speaking, larger than the Astral Deliverance version, and swamp damage is lesser. So overall, I think it is the case that being Annihilator, I've heard somewhere before that it is not as good as Astral Deliverance or Death Penalty. I presume the reason why is because of the way I've set my target priority. So I've set it to be range, then fast, and then bosses. So my cannon module is going to prioritize attacking range and fast before it attacks the bosses. And so even though under being Annihilator, I should get more priority damage on bosses, I'm spending a lot of those bullets hitting ranged and fast enemies just to control them. Overall, at least for today's battle conditions, Astral Deliverance build and Death Penalty build seems to do equally as well for my performance. I would say that the Astral Deliverance build is still more consistent in damage throughput, but for the Death Penalty one, it's subject to whether or not you actually kill the enemies. And in the later stages of Legends Tournament, because bosses just have so much HP, I think the ability to do percentage damage to bosses is something that is very valuable. So maybe in that regard, we might see that as I progress in my tower, when I get to a point where I'm past the 1800 waves of Intro Sprint Mastery, maybe Death Penalty might be the go-to module. But at this stage, I think Astral Deliverance, I feel more comfortable using Astral Deliverance than Death Penalty just because there is less variance in the damage throughput that I have. Okay, so that concludes all of today's playtesting. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing the video. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!